Hi, superheroes. I'm Pink Phoenix, coming to you from Purdue University College of Veterinary Medicine's League of VetaHumans. Today, our special guest on VetaHumanz Live is a VetaHuman in training, Cowboy D. Thanks for being on the show, Cowboy D.
Oh, thanks for having me.
So, to get started, can you tell us your story?
My name is, my non-superhero name is Aaron Lewis, and I am from Marietta, Georgia. I did my undergraduate at Lincoln University in Jefferson City, Missouri, and I am now part of the Purdue University uh, veterinary class of 2025.
Excellent. All right, Cowboy D, how did you pick your superhero name?
So, the term cowboy comes from, the people that are known at the American West who took care of, cattle, and they rode horses and took care of livestock. And that's kind of what I want to do in my future. I want to be a veterinarian that looks after, large animals and livestock. And the D part of my names comes from determination. And that's a little bit about my superpower, which we'll talk more about a little later.
I love that. Okay. When was the moment in your life when you knew that you had to become a veterinarian?
I say it goes way back to when I was in fourth grade. My school that I attended in elementary school had a book fair, and one of the books that I found on the shelf was a book about veterinarians. And in the book, it was a veterinarian had wrote the book about his clinic, and he had different interviews from his staff and everything. And they went through different cases and different animals that had come to the hospital, and they gave you the everything from the entry of the animal until them leaving and even the recovery. And just reading that book made me pique my interest in veterinary medicine. And ever since then, I just wanted to be a vet, and I knew that's what I had to do, and I haven't stopped until I get there.
That's excellent. I love how that book had such an impact. That's a great story. So let's get down to business. What did you think vet college would be like, and what is it really like?
Well, when I first thought about veterinary school, I thought it would be exciting. I thought it would be, really fun and enjoyable. And it truly is. It really is. There's a fun, enjoyable aspects of veterinary medicine, but there's also challenging aspects. And like with every challenge, there's obstacles that you have to face and things you have to get over and things you have to overcome in order to achieve. And vet schools are really a test to people that truly want to be veterinarians. So far, I've enjoyed the enjoyable parts, and I've done my best to beat the obstacles.
So we have a lot of prospective vet students out there. What were you most anxious about before you started veterinary college?
I think one of the things that kind of got me the most was trying to figure out how I was going to adjust to the workload, because being in graduate school, it's a different level from any kind of schooling that I've done before. So I think going in, and then of course making new friends. I was going to a different place where I didn't know too many people, so I had to adjust to the new environment and make sure I stay on top of my work. And it was a lot of things that go into making that transition.
How did you overcome those challenges?
I think finding some good people that look out for me and I can talk to, because at the end of the day, all the best students were going through the same thing. And I think the important part of it is making sure that you go through it with somebody so that you can have someone to talk to and study with and bounce ideas off of. And I think that's really helped me become a better veterinary student.
Yeah, that is so, so important. So if you were talking to a friend, how would you recommend that they prepare for vet college?
One thing I would say is be open to new ideas. Don't go in there with a fixed mindset. I think go in there with the mindset that things are going to change and that you're going to have to adjust. And I think that's some of the best advice I can give is being ready to adjust and finding new ways to overcome different challenges.
That's excellent advice. Can you tell us about your favorite class and why it's your favorite?
I think one of my favorite classes in veterinary school is probably veterinary anatomy. simply because, you learn a lot about different species and different structural parts of species, and then how those structures lead to the function. And there are so many different mechanisms and adaptations that each animal has made, and it's kind of really fun to learn about that. And I think that's one of my favorite things to really kind of compare. How does animal develop this and how does animal develop that? So,
Do you have a favorite part?
a favorite part. I think my favorite part of the animal will probably be the brain, because the brain goes into everything that you do in your body, whether you know it or not, and it controls literally everything. So you have to have that brain in order to function. So I think that's probably one of my favorite parts. It's like the control center.
Great answer. It's controlling our podcast right now.
Yeah.
What's been your best day ever at vet school so far?
I think my best day ever is when I finally figure out what works for me studying wise, and then once I got that nice pattern down, I went to some of my exams and I did really well. And then after those exams, me and my friends, we would get together and then we would go celebrate, doing well in our exams. And I think those interactions and making those memories with those friends have been the best part of it, because like I said, we're all going through it together, and to just finding some ways to make the best of our situation is one of the best parts of going through veterinary school.
That's awesome, and I'm glad you brought that up. What are some study strategies or learning strategies that work for you?
I think one of the biggest ones is after lecture, going and find a place where I can review the notes that I just took, and then putting them in kind of a sequence and like a concept map in order to lead, like it's kind of like a pattern recognition, so that I know what leads to what and what's connected to what, and then making those connections, whether it's in the same class or in another class, allows it to be more cemented in my memory, and then allows me to for better recall of that information.
Yeah, I love concept maps too. And I love them because as you learn more, you can keep adding things and connecting things from different areas.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's a great strategy. Okay, some real talk. What's it like being a vet student during a pandemic? And bonus, today we're recording this in the middle of a snowstorm.
I think that goes back to those challenges. You don't really you never really know what's going to come at any time. And I guess definitely being in a pandemic, firstly, you had to adjust. And I think knowing that what we do is for the protection of other people is a big part of, making it through it. It gives you even more reason to do it, because, you're not thinking about just yourself, think about your family and other people's families. And as for the snowstorm, I think that's definitely been an adjustment, because I like I said, I'm from Marietta, Georgia. So, waking up to 5 or 6 inches of snow on my car is an adjustment that I had to make. And I think being up in the Midwest is the first time I ever had to dig my car out of snow. So, but like I said, you make the most of it. I've gone sledding, I've gone out, made snow angels and snowmen. So it's just, they're positive and negative. They're just taking those challenges as they come and adjusting and being adaptable. I think being a part of vet school is being adaptable and finding, a way to get through every day.
All right. Yeah. And adaptability, that's what you need to get through life.
Yeah, for sure.
So you said you read that book at an early age, and they were talking about cases. After you read the book, what kind of veterinarian were you thinking you would be, and has that changed?
That book, it was more focused on small animals, so like cats and dogs, and I think there were some exotic animals like lizards that were in the book. But as I progressed through my studies of veterinary medicine, I started in undergrad looking into the College of Agriculture. I decided that I wanted to be, a large animal veterinarian. I think I wanted to look through the agriculture sector and the human-animal bond as it relates to, a large animal with cattle, goats, and sheep and horses. And that's kind of how I got my superhero name, Cowboy D. You know, being a cowboy is kind of a kind of like a dream or aspiration. You know, having that human animal bond with those large animals. So.
I love that, especially being a hog vet myself.
Yeah, okay, see?
You really do bond with the livestock.
Yes, I'm sure.
Hey, vet school's a lot of work. What do you do for fun?
So I have a few activities that I think my number one de-stressing activity is going roller skating. I grew up roller skating with my family. My parents were it was big through our family. So going out on roller skating, just listening to the music and kind of rolling around, skating, and going with some of my friends, hanging out with them, and just having a good time, and just and it's also exercise as well. So get your heart rate going and everything. But along with that, I like playing sports. I play basketball every now and again, and if I ever get a chance to play some soccer. And then just to get outdoors, sometimes I'll go on walks or runs or ride a bicycle, and just finding like little ways to get moving and get active and just get away from the studying, because there's a lot of studying to do, of course, but you have to get away from it sometimes too, to enjoy yourself, because that's a part of your life and being a well-rounded student. So
yeah, I need to take a break, and I love that you go roller skating. That's just fantastic, and that you found a rink by us.
yes, that's. I think the rink here is pretty nice, and every time I go, I meet somebody new too. So it's like I always make new friends out there too that are like love roller skating too. So
Awesome. So you said you would tell us later in the show, and now it's time. Tell us about your superpowers. What are they, and how are you using them to support others through the league?
So my superpower is determination, as you know from the D in my name, Cowboy D, and I think it's determination, just a relentless pursuit. And my goal ultimately is becoming a veterinarian, and of course, my goal won't stop there. My goal is also to helping humans, animals, and the environment the best that I can. So I try to conduct myself in a way that encourages other people, future men and women who are have aspirations to go into veterinary medicine, to continue to follow their goal, and then hopefully they're inspired by my determination, and not giving up on my goals to also pursue theirs.
Wonderful. What message do you have for these aspiring veterinarians?
Back when I was in high school, I was part of a shelter medicine club, and on our shirts we had this quote printed, and the quote was, saving one animal may not change the world, but surely for the animal, the world will change. And that quote has resonated with me since I've read it. And I know that, doing my best for every animal is my goal. So I think anyone inspiring to go into veterinary medicine, just don't do it for, the money or the fame. Do it because it's the right thing to do, and you're going to enjoy it. And you can go home every day after you save, that one animal, and then the world has changed in the perspective of that animal. So
That's absolutely beautiful.
thank you.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much for being on the show, Cowboy D.
All right.
You can learn about other League of VetaHuman superheroes at vetahumans.org. If you like this episode, please subscribe, rate, and share with your friends. And remember, use your powers for good.